Not looking for advice, just a confession, my Tinder testimony. I'm not looking for advice, I guess this is more of a confession or a testimony. I've been lurking in this thread, completely enthralled by all the wild stories, so I figured it was time to share mine. I used to be on Tinder back when it was free and you could swipe until your thumb gave out. When I moved to a metro city, fresh out of a 4-year relationship, I dove headfirst into the dating scene. I started swiping with a purpose, hoping to meet someone new, but eventually, it turned into mindless swiping. The matches were scarce, and when I did get one, I'd often get ghosted. The rejection messed with my head, especially when I'd really like someone and get too eager. My texts probably came off as desperate or too good to be true, and then, bam, ghosted. It was like clockwork. But then came the catfish. I'd had a few minor run-ins before, but this one? This one was straight out of a horror movie. We matched, and she suggested we meet at Starbucks. She told me she was shy and asked if I could bring the drinks to her car. Sure, why not? I figured she was just nervous. So, I grabbed the drinks and head over to her car. I get there, and let me tell you, she was not who she said she was. She looked nothing like her photos, she had a different face, a different vibe. And then, she locked me in the car. The door could only be opened from the outside. My heart was racing, my mind was spinning, and I thought, this is it. This is how I go out, locked in a car with a stranger who catfished me on Tinder. I somehow kept my cool, but inside, I was freaking out. After what felt like an eternity, she finally let me go. I bolted out of there, deleted the app, and swore off Tinder for good. I moved on to Bumble, hoping for a better experience, but it was more of the same: ghosting, rejection, and a whole lot of loneliness. I started to realize that I was attracting women who felt like damaged goods because, deep down, I felt like damaged goods too. The constant rejection fed into my insecurities and led me down a dark path. I fell into depression because I wasn't being selected, and every time I got ghosted, it was like another nail in the coffin of my self-esteem. It wasn't until 4 years later, when my depression reached its peak, that I finally went to therapy. Looking back, I can see that I was stuck in a cycle of seeking validation from people who couldn't even be honest about who they were. Therapy helped me break that cycle, rebuild my confidence, and realize that my worth isn't determined by an app or by whether someone swipes right on me. I guess what I'm saying is that my Tinder experience was so bad that it led me to therapy, but in a weird way, I'm grateful for it. I'm in a much better place now, mentally and emotionally.